What is up? So tonight we had some issues and still looking for the technical director.
Yeah.
Any assistance we could get would be great because we didn't know what was going on with the Wi-Fi. So we're going to have to do it this way for tonight, upload it later, and hopefully still get it and can absorb it perfectly. And Game 7 is on right next to me, so I'm going to do my best to not be staring up here all night. But hey, we're here. We're at Three Nations a day later because the first college football playoff rankings came out yesterday, and it was Halloween, so we decided to give it another day. So yes, we're back at Three Nations Brewing. Terrance, what were you for Halloween?
I was the sleepy monster.
You could say Sleepy the dwarf.
Sleepy? Yeah, I was that. Yeah,
Dwarf.
Was one of the 7 dwarfs.
Was
Sleepy.
Jenny Snow White?
Obviously. Yeah, and the kids were. I don't know what they were.
What?
I mean, they were asleep.
They didn't dress up at all?
I'm not a big Halloween guy.
I'm not either. But
I think for Thanksgiving they all dress up as turkeys, but I like Thanksgiving and Christmas. But
I won
for
second
Christmas
place.
there'll be elves.
What? You dress them up for Halloween.
Okay, well I'm sorry that
I
I'm
won
not
second
festive.
place at my office with Social Butterfly. So I had the butterfly wings on, and then all the social media logos on my wings.
Did you take a photo?
No.
I'm gonna have to see that photo that I know you took.
No, I really didn't.
You didn't get a photo.
No.
Caroline
Just trying to
thinks
win
this pink make me look dark. So
I didn't say that. We were filming in black and white before that. You were dark.
oh, I'm just as dark. I mean, I'm black, so obviously in black and white mode, I'm going to be black.
Yeah.
Anyways, we wasted 2 minutes talking about that, and we're still hiring for director of technical services,
Yes.
and we actually pay a living wage. So there we go. Anyway, let's get off into the deep end and talk about college football playoffs.
Yeah, so rounding out the top 4, we've got Georgia, Bama, Notre Dame, and Clemson. Just to go off of those 4, were you surprised at all to see Georgia in that top spot rather than Alabama, who I agree with Georgia being in the top spot. I never thought the playoff committee would actually put Georgia in that top spot, though.
You know, as I look throughout, Georgia's schedule, Georgia and Alabama are very, very similar, and the tiebreaker goes to them beating a number 3 now, Notre Dame, earlier in the season. But I really like Georgia and Alabama being number 1 and number 2 regardless, and it doesn't matter right now. They still have to win out, and then they still have to play each other in the SEC championship if they can get to that game, which I don't foresee anyone disrupting that out of the West or East. Although Alabama, who's sitting at number 2 right now, is in a rivalry game against LSU. LSU's playing good ball right now. I just don't think they're enough to stop their top from rolling.
Georgia's headed into South Carolina, Auburn, Kentucky, and Georgia Tech. So they're kind of, every game's a new game and you got to prepare for every game. But they're kind of smooth sailing. Auburn would be the only school that could possibly give them trouble, but I don't see them having too big of an issue with them.
What we're seeing right now from the top 2 teams is defensively, they're doing what they need to do against everyone on that schedule. There's no close games. There's no battles. They shouldn't be in. Unlike Oklahoma and some of the scares that they've been in and just piddled around. So these 2 teams are clearly the best 2 teams in the country.
Yeah. Then we've got Notre Dame and Clemson. Notre Dame obviously playing awesome ball right now.
I like it.
And the remainder of their schedule: Wake Forest, Miami, Navy, and Stanford. So Miami obviously going to be a challenging game, but the way that they played against NC State and just really how they've been playing this whole season, they look to be taking commanding leads, and I think that they'll handle.
No, they dominated on both sides of the ball, and Wimbush has taken care of the ball. When you look at their schedule up to now, they beat Michigan State, who's ranked, USC, and North Carolina State. So when you look at their body of work, which the committee loves saying that, I don't know if they said it last night. I was watching the baseball. We're prepping for baseball and putting the kids down to sleep. But anyways, they probably have the most impressive record thus far. It's just not good enough to get them past Georgia, Alabama. But, I mean, they are definitely number 3 and there's no question about it what they've been able to do. They got some big games with Miami and Stanford later this year, but Clemson, sits right there at the bottom of that top four playoff run, is playing good ball. They lost Kelly against Syracuse. The Syracuse was just able to do some things offensively that Clemson didn't seem ready for. Clemson is definitely in the same boat with Notre Dame with the schedule that they played, beating Virginia Tech, Auburn, and Louisville earlier this season.
Right.
And if they win out, they can play against Miami. They got some big games, so I'm looking forward to watching how this evolves. I think Georgia and Alabama stay true until SEC championship. I think there may be some shifting around in Notre Dame and Clemson based on some of the teams they lost. And Miami plays both of those teams later on this year.
Yeah. Should be interesting to see how that all shapes up headed into the latter half of the season.
Yeah. Well, Miami will play Clemson if they win out. So for the championship, ACC championship. Past the six is going to go to ACC member Florida State. Jimbo Fisher is. It's a rough year.
Yeah.
I met a Florida State running back.
Rebuilding year?
I don't know if it's rebuilding, but I like Jimbo Fisher. He's a player's coach. He gets the guys ready to go. And I met with a Florida State running back. His name is Bruce Simmons. He played a long time ago. 70s, I think. He's an old guy, fun guy to talk to, and he loves Jimbo Fisher, and he likes what's going to happen. He said everything is cyclical, and if you look at it, Florida State hasn't been cyclical at all over the last 30 years. So this is a trying time for them, but I think that them losing to Boston College, who's not a really good team this year, not a great team, 35-3 kind of hurts, and the schedule doesn't get any better for them. But so they get the past the six. Hyper no height is JT Barrett. They're not going to spend a lot of time on that. 33 for 39 last week, 328 yards, passing, and then 4 touchdowns. Score right there within the final 2 minutes of the game to give your team the lead. The guy played phenomenal.
Do you think that showing helps his draft stock whatsoever?
He's a safe quarterback. He makes plays. He understands defenses. He's not turning over the ball. I don't know how well he would translate into an NFL offense, but I think he's willing to learn. I think he wants to learn. I think he wants to grow, and I think he wants to continue to play football for a very, very long time. He's a passionate guy about the sport. He's from Texas. And so a lot of people are pulling for him, even though he plays for Ohio State, for him to be very successful. I just, time will tell. No one thought, Deshaun Watson would be able to do what he did. Yep. And he goes up to, Seattle and plays a great game against the Seahawks and that Legion of Boom, that secondary they have. I think his physical attributes translate to the NFL. He has to have a cerebral part of it once he gets to the NFL, and that's not easy. Yeah. So that's all I have. Past the six and JT Barrett on Hyper No Hype, and we move right into
jumping into the matchups of the week. We got fun ones in the Big 12. It's Bedlam week, obviously. So OU has won 14 out of the last 15 of these games.
The only time that OSU won was when 2011, they won Big 12 championship and went on to beat Stanford in the Rose Bowl, I believe. And that's the year they had Andrew Luck. So there was a really good team that year. I don't know who their one loss was. Andrew Luck was at Stanford when Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Sorry, gotcha. I think also.
Andrew Luck played at Oklahoma State.
Like what? I think also with Oklahoma being at the 5 spot for the playoffs, I think that will only fuel their fire more and make them even more hungry and motivated because they're right underneath there.
I kind of like what some of these coaches, Kirby Smart, Georgia's coach, and Nick Saban saying it's poison.
Yeah.
It's 4 games left, 5 if you look at the conference championships. There's so much football left to play. And when the first rankings came out 4 years ago, for the first playoffs. Ohio State was ranked number 15. So, it doesn't matter. You know how that they kind of lobby
but
to get in.
Even more so than being in that 5 spot, I think would give you some type of motivation because it is further out. And you can move up, and those teams can still lose.
So the only thing you can control is what's left on your schedule. Yeah. So motivation or not, Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, if they want to be in the top 4 in the playoff team, they have to win this weekend. And it's going to be hard to go up into Stillwater, but Oklahoma has fared well there the last 15 years, like you said. I think Oklahoma State is playing the best ball right now out of the 2 teams.
Do you think they're going to pull it out?
I think Oklahoma State will win.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's who I got.
All right.
Who you got?
I'll take OU. Just make it fun.
No, I don't like that.
No, I mean, I think OU wins.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
Sean, who you have? OU?
Bedlam.
Sean is usually like spot on, but I guess with the Wi-Fi not working, he wasn't paying attention.
OSU's loss in 2011 was to Iowa State.
Oh, they did go up there and get thumped. And OSU has to go to Iowa State this year as well.
Yeah.
So Iowa State is number 1 in the Big 12. Go figure that. And they're playing some really good ball. What a world we live in. You know, Iowa State, leading the Big 12 midway through the season and second year coach. Mm-hmm. Seth, who we have? Oklahoma? He's going to Oklahoma State. Go Pokes. I love it. So let's transition to our next game.
So Iowa State coming off of a huge win against TCU last week. TCU taking on Texas this week. So there's 4 teams in the Big 12 currently that are 4-1. So for TCU, this is huge because obviously there's so many people going after the championship game. So OU and OSU, they can kind of, duke it out this weekend. But obviously TCU needs to handle business this week against Texas. And the funny part I was reading about the Iowa State game, TCU's defense allowed no points and only 40 yards in the second half against Iowa State. Yeah. So their defense was doing their job, but their offense just couldn't get anything going. Kenny Hill coming off the worst game of his season with 2 interceptions and a turnover. And so,
and these are not like turnovers like first quarter that you can overcome.
Right.
These are turnovers late in the game. Yeah. You're on the opponent's 3-yard line and you drop back and you're careless with the ball, and next thing you know, it's you lose the game. Then he throws a pick late in the game. It's just you cannot do that on the road. The thing is when we look back, we're going to ask which one was most impressive, that Texas beat Iowa State or that Iowa State held Texas offense to only 17 points. Because Iowa State has played great defense this year. I don't know what they did this year. I don't know what Iowa State has been able to do as far as like leading their cavalry and some kind of schematic changes. But Joe Lennon is playing really good for Iowa State, and they shut down TCU the entire game. TCU had one big play, and that was to open up the third quarter and second half with the touchdown run. Yeah. But I'm fearful for TCU this week because they play another good defense in Texas, which held Oklahoma State to 10 points in regulation and held Baylor to 7 points all game. Baylor has a lot of issues going on the offense, but we didn't think we couldn't score on that defense. And so the game's in TCU. TCU doesn't really bring a big crowd. I feel like TCU should win, but if they continue to turn over the ball like Kenny Hill did last week, it's going to be a wrap because Texas is efficient enough on offense to score the ball.
Talking about Iowa State, they are coming off 4 straight wins, including 2 in the top 5. Absurd. I thought those words would never come out of my mouth. So they are headed into Morgantown this weekend against West Virginia. And this will be, obviously TCU and Oklahoma were big tests, but playing in Morgantown is tough no matter what your rank is. And this game will be huge, especially with the 4 tied teams right now in the Big 12.
So there's an Iowa State bandwagon sitting out here. I'm about to go jump on it. Iowa State wins this game. They're in the driver's seat, and the thing is, they're not doing it any special way. Montgomery is playing really well. The quarterback is playing well, and he didn't have any snaps. He's not a letter winner. He's a senior, but he's not a letter winner. He comes in and he's playing very well.
Yeah.
And that defense is just stout. They bow up, and they're not afraid to rally to the ball. They're playing selfish ball, and everyone is just trying to win. And I like the way they play. They're going to have to stop that passing attack from West Virginia.
Yeah.
But I have Iowa State winning this game.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. But West Virginia is a good team. I just think that they lost some of their flair with, last few weeks and some tough losses.
Sure.
We'll see.
Then we got K-State and Texas Tech this week. Both of these teams are right on the cusp of becoming bowl eligible. So they both need 2 wins to become bowl eligible, and we are both getting distracted by the World Series right now. Oh my gosh, you Darvish. Yeah.
Two wins to go to the bowl. It's at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is coming off 3 losses in a row. They lost last 4 to 5 games. I would.
So you were just reading my notes.
No, is that your notes?
Almost.
Yeah, I will say I don't even think you have that as your notes.
No, I didn't. I just had K-State.
I was just looking at it. I'm sorry. I'm not. I mean, I was a cheater in school. I got caught.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Yeah, ask Miss Anderson. She called me cheating on the spelling test.
Shame
on me. But yeah, Texas Tech and K-State. I had a high hopes for Texas Tech earlier this year and just lost my tail on some of those bets that I had.
I still think Texas Tech will pull this one out. K-State gave up almost 400 yards to Kansas last week.
I had Kansas winning that game.
Really?
Yes. For some reason, I just felt it. But
close.
It doesn't matter. I mean, neither one of these teams are in the running.
No.
They're just trying to get bowl eligible to get some free swag in December.
Love free swag. Well, who won't be getting free swag is Baylor and Kansas, who will meet this week for a great, thrilling game.
Oh, listen, it's going to be 50s or something, the low 40s. Yeah, so similar to the game last week in Waco. Man, I honestly don't know who's going to win this game.
I mean, I don't have confidence in either team. It's just whoever can get on the board.
Well, it's not even about a confidence thing. It's like, when the last time you said a team has to go to Kansas? That's it's tough to win in Kansas. Like, in basketball, it's different. Like, when you say you got to go to their gym, it's a famous gym, Fieldhouse. Oh, it's like something, Fieldhouse. Anyways. Now, that's home court advantage.
Daunting, yeah.
But when people say, I don't know, we got to go to Kansas, it's like, that does not give me any confidence. And we're hobbling into this game. Baylor did not have practice on Monday because, Coach Rule felt that they needed a rest. Both of these teams are frustrated. Both had a little, higher hopes than being, 1-7 and 0-8. I think it'll be a game where we can just find out, who wants it more, and they just play football.
Yeah.
Charlie Brewer gets his first start this weekend. Maybe we'll have some offensive momentum to get that game going because last week was just sloppy with the 2 quarterback rotation.
2 big injuries though: Clay Johnston and Pierce Strickland, both likely out for the remainder of the season. So those will be devastating losses. So
yeah, piling up body bags.
Did you know? Our last Baylor's last regular season win against Kansas last year, October 15th.
I did not know that.
That's sad. Our last win would be the bowl game.
Have we come full circle? Yeah.
Yeah. Ouchie. That one hurts.
Yeah, it does hurt. Who we got across the nation?
Oh, right.
League Big
Looking
12.
at
It hurts my heart.
The country right now. This weekend we got Virginia Tech and Miami. A huge game for Miami to prove that they can pull off a win and do so in a showy fashion. I feel like every game they're just like, oh, okay, we pulled off the win.
This game is in Miami. Virginia Tech is playing really good ball. Josh Jackson is playing lights out. No one's talking about him being a Heisman contender. if he continues to win and Virginia Tech can somehow get back into the ACC championship game, they can rematch against Clemson, and that could be an opportunity for Virginia Tech to sneak back up in the top five, top four for the playoffs. I like Miami at home, but I'm going to go with Virginia Tech and Josh Jackson. Yeah. The true freshman is balling out. He's breaking records that stood since Michael Vick played at Virginia Tech. He's a gamer. He's a performer. He's going to be up for this game. It's the reason why Miami only has a 54% chance of winning at home.
Right. Totally agree with that. And Clemson and NC State, we saw NC State get a little bit of a beating last week from Notre Dame, and Clemson has a 70% chance of victory for this game, and I think they do win this game. Clemson
wins. They keep rolling. They understand that they cannot suffer another loss, and it will not be the NC State. Maybe in a championship game against one of these teams from the Coastal Division, but I got Clemson winning.
Mm-hmm. And then this one won't be a big shock, but Penn State and Michigan State. Penn State's got an 80% chance of victory here, and I think they'll win no problem. They're just coming off a emotional game to Ohio State.
And you know, the crazy thing is, didn't they go to Michigan?
Yes.
And they went to Ohio State.
Yes.
And now they're at Michigan State. So they haven't been at home for a while.
Yeah.
And that's going to start eating on them because they're traveling. You get dehydrated in these long games, exhausting rivalry games. It plays a toll on the team. I don't think Michigan State has enough offensive firepower like Ohio State did.
Right.
And I don't think Michigan State's quarterback is anywhere close to where J.T. Barrett is playing right now.
Yeah.
Sorley's going to have to play better for Penn State, but I got, Saquon Barkley. He has to show up in Heisman fashion, and he's done it every week, and there's no reason why I shouldn't believe he'll do it again this week.
Definitely. Well, that is it. So now we can go watch Game 7.
Yeah. I mean, I think we cut our time down in half.
Yeah.
From I think we're like 45 minutes, and we're.
What have we been doing?
Yeah, we've just been rambling on. But the video is probably gonna take a long time to upload. But thank you so much for y'all listening. Sean, Seth, does Iowa State stay true and win the Big 12? Not a chance by Seth and Sean. Okay, one of the things we didn't talk about, and we got a couple minutes, is, Sean said TCU, by the way, is the process that Matt Campbell has had at Iowa State and the process that Rule is trying to
instate.
Yeah, here at Baylor. Is there any difference between coaching and, where you are? Or should we really, as Baylor fans and alumni, should we really look at Iowa State and say, Rule is doing something very, very similar and we can mimic that success in year 2? Or is this one of those things that Iowa State caught lightning in the bottle and...
I think the differences are very drastically different.
Okay, what are the very drastically
I mean, Baylor's going through a lot more than just a sucky football program for years.
What are we going through?
Are you kidding me? They have to get over our entire reputation garbage fire.
Okay, but what does that mean? Okay, let's talk X's and O's because the reputation of, the guys understand, most of those guys are freshmen and sophomores, so they're young, they just want to play football. So let's talk about X's and O's because the whole thing about using the situation as an excuse, we gotta stop making that excuse. We made that excuse for 8 weeks. You're like, all these guys he's been through. I can tell you who hasn't been through anything. I mean, not anything. I can tell you who hasn't been through the scandal. And I'm sure they're gonna go to these other teams. They're probably gonna go to Kansas. They're gonna be a knucklehead student or guy that's gonna say some stupid, childish things to these guys. But Gavin Holmes, he's a freshman starter. He plays really good ball. He knows how to play football. R.J. Sneed played really good ball when he was in. Harrison Hand, Petrie, and all these guys are playing. They just want to play football. So the whole stigma, I think as fans, we're just pouring that on. It's like, okay, this is why you should feel sorry for being 0-8. And I'm saying you're not in 6 of the 8 games if you take care of business, and it has nothing to do with you can't as a coach. I mean, I understand that you suffer with recruiting, but as a coach, I'm gonna come in and say, like, there's something like I always heard in coaching or as a player, control what you can control.
Right.
Alabama and Georgia cannot control being number 1 and 2 right now.
To Matt Campbell's credit, it's not like he can recruit much better because they've been garbage for so long. So
I would use this as, in Rule's defense, is that Iowa State has a much more senior-led, veteran-led team than Baylor.
Yeah.
I don't think midway through next season Baylor will be
0-8.
No, I don't. No, they definitely cannot be that. But I don't think that we'll be leading the Big 12 like Iowa State is in year 2. I do think Baylor will be a 8-win team next year. I don't know where
8-10?
Yeah, I think there's some small details that we have to learn, find out about our coaching staff and our players. And I think we are an 8-win team. I thought, we're good enough to win 6 games this year. It just didn't. You are as good as your record. We're 0-8. We got a big game. But Matt Campbell won 2 of his last 4 last year. Baylor has 4 games. If you can use that momentum, take it into the offseason and say, hey, we're a good team. We're getting better every week. And, they beat Texas Tech last year.
A good point that Sean brought up before the show. Not going into the bowl game really does hurt a team that does need the more time to practice and the more time to –
Not this year for Baylor because Baylor's beat up. So they need more time to rest than they need to play.
Seriously.
Yeah, so they need to go home and drink Pedialyte,
Gatorade.
I was about let's kill that. Duh, cut that last segment. But anyways, I would say no, Sean, TCU, right? I'm going to say Iowa State, the bandwagon. We got about 30 seconds before we jump up. I'm about to go jump on that bandwagon. I'm riding Iowa State. They got to go to.
So you think it's Iowa State, TCU,
West Virginia
in the Big 12 championship?
I don't know who. I mean, TCU got to win this weekend. Their offense played like dog meat last week.
But you're saying whoever Iowa State plays in the Big 12 championship, they're going to beat?
I'm saying Iowa State is going to win the regular season Big 12 championship, and they will be in the Big 12 championship game.
Oh,
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because it's either going to be TCU, Iowa State, or Oklahoma as far as like looking at the wins. Because Oklahoma State has to win this weekend, and I said Oklahoma State will win.
Yeah.
But whoever loses, those top 4 teams, whoever loses is out.
Yeah.
For sure. So there's control what you control. But I got Iowa State winning. I mean, I think they beat Oklahoma State when Oklahoma State goes to Ames, Iowa, late this month. And I think Sean is nodding his head and looking at everyone else for.
Well, they got to handle West Virginia beforehand. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting the cart before the horse.
Yep.
Anyways, thank y'all so much. What we got?
That's it.
Are we here next Tuesday?
Yep.
All right.
Come see us next Tuesday.
Come see us next Tuesday. Sean and Seth will be here. And maybe we'll have a guest on the show. Molly and her. I'm just kidding. I can't announce that.
Molly, my twins.
Yeah, no, you can't say that.
Yeah, I can. It's on Facebook. My sister's having twins.
And Caroline did not tell me when I asked about a month ago when is she going to have nieces and nephews. But anyways, y'all have a good one. Thanks again, 3 Nation Brewing. You've been great, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.